morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Get Rich 101. You see the rain? Can you see the rain on my eyeglasses? I guess you can't really, but look at that. You can't really see it. Well, you can kind of see them on that lens. But anyway, I just came from outside. It was raining outside. I did not run yet. I did not run yet. Let me say that. I did not run yet. I was walking feet to the train. Anyway, let me finish my intro. So, I'm Sekou Writes. I'm an author, and where is that book? Where is that book? Here's that book. Hack Your Pain Now. Hack Your Pain Now. All right? Please check it out if you have not already. And please give a shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me the space and the opportunity to grow, to grow, to grow. And just a reminder that this is not a clear, definitive way you should treat your money. You should take what I say and go out there and research, go out there and learn, go out there and study and figure out the way to make your own money. All right. So here we are. So I think today is going to be short. Because what I have to say is relatively short. But I want to talk about the stroke because I know I said I've got to do more of that, and I will have something to say about the theme that has been developing. So what's been happening in terms of the stroke? Well, I'm meeting up with a new person today. And honestly, I can't even tell you what kind of person this is. I think this is physical therapy, but I went to the pain doctor most recently. So that's what I'm calling him, the pain doctor. He knows about pain. And he's changed his prescription and he changed his physical therapist. I was getting one, but now he's got me on a new one. So this will be my first time going to see him. And so he's got some kind of device. My pain doctor has some kind of device that he wants the doctor to put on me. So I'm interested to see how that goes because my right side is still my right side. You know, and people can't tell that it's bothering me unless I really act out. And I've gotten better at pretending it's not bothering me. And so people think that I'm fine. But I'll give you an example. Fee and I went to get breakfast the other day over the weekend. And I ran into a friend of mine that I know from way back. And he was, he was acknowledging the fact that I've had some struggles, some physical struggles. But he was acknowledging it and he was holding my hand. And I told you all, I have to fist bump everyone. I have to fist bump everyone at all times because when I don't and they grab it, it hurts. And I was like, I didn't say anything though. I didn't say anything. I was like, I tried to get my hand free. And as soon as we walked away, people started talking. I was like, what happened? I saw your face. And what happened? And I reminded her what happened. And she's like, you gotta have a plan. And so my plan, according to Fee, is to tap their hand. So if I forget, and I link arms with someone, I have to tap their hand, tap, and then they'll let me go. Now that should work. Honestly, that should work. But I gotta really just remember to do the fist, and yeah, that's my greeting. That's my greeting. That's my hello. That's my goodbye. Fist bump. Fist bump. All right. So anyway, so that was an interesting situation, and so anyway, I'm putting these things on me, and hopefully, knock on wood, they will provide some some greater path to success, because my right side has been the same. Has been the same. My ability to deal with it has changed, but the pressure, the 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 what's that word? Sorry, I can't think of the word. That's that agoraphobia messing with me right there. So anyway, it's still bothering me the same amount that it was bothering me 2 years ago when I finally came out of the stroke enough to recover. So anyway, I don't want to get into it. I'm going to the therapist today, and knock on wood, we'll see what we find. We'll see what we find. Okay, so that said, I want to move on to this. I have been inadvertently making this show about how do we survive the upcoming president, the new president. And I was only intending to do that for a day, but it's coming up. And so we're coming off of two different sites on two different people. I've had two different people. I had one on Friday and one on Monday, and both of them were talking about it in their own way. So I'm gonna hit you with this one. This is gonna hurt you. It's gonna hurt a little bit because it hit me, and I was like, "What?" But one of the people said to me that he's not political anymore, and I was like, "What do you mean he's not political anymore?" And he's like, "Man, I'm too worried about the money." And I was like, "What? What?" And this like is hitting you now. It's hitting me when I first heard it. Now think about that. Think about that. Think about being so focused on the way that the money comes out that you're not worried about anything else. Like you have your concerns, you have your gut level things, but you're not worried about that because you're focused on the money, which way to bet things according to your money. I was like, wow, that's deep. That's deep. And I've seen evidence of it. I've seen the S&P SP 500. SP 500 is shooting up. Cryptocurrency is shooting up. Bitcoin is shooting up. Like there's all these things that are happening now that if you had your toe in, you could make some money off of. Like if you're just sitting at home complaining about the new president and what's going to happen, like look, you got him for 4 years, right? Because you remember you tried to get rid of him before 4 years last time. That didn't work. That's not work, right? So you got him for 4 years. So you got to focus on helping yourself because this is it. So anyway, there's lots of different ways. So let me briefly update you. So Tony talked to him on Friday, and he said basically you've got to be focused on it's the same thing, but basically you got to be focused on you and what your thing is, right? So you've got to I'll skip him because I want to move on to the next one. So let me put it this way. Have your life insurance. Have your life insurance set up. Because you've got to have that set up regardless. Because something could happen to you tomorrow and you need to have that set up, right? And that will take care of things in your family. Well, that's Nelson. He's sitting here right next to me. Anyway, so you've got to be conscious of where your money is. So you've got to have a life insurance policy. So I'll leave that there. Then I talked to David on Monday, and first of all, we could not get him on StreamYard. We had to get them on. We had to shoot them on Zoom. So there was no cameras, no rolly, no dice roll, no nothing. So it was like ah. But anyway, we got some more talking done that way. So anyway, he talked about the upcoming election just in terms of it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain, but the idea is that if you focus on money, and where it's coming from, where if you focus on that, that will take you away from politics. Because you're focusing on where the money's going. And so my mom made this very clear for me. Because she added up the amount that I'm making with my tiny little bit of trading stocks. My tiny little bit, right? Because she got down on it one day and she figured it out. So basically, hope I got this right, Mom. But my tiny little bit of trading stocks was building my return epically. So let's say I've got let's say sorry, Nelson's distracting me. Nelson's having a sneezing fit. So anyway, so if I got a shoot shoot. Okay, so let's just say a bed, right? A bed has I've invested in a bed, and they're gonna turn me out a bed, and they're gonna give me like $5. Like let's just say $5. I'm gonna get $5, right? Well, I'm already making $5 in a month. Like, well, so the numbers are off, right? But the number for the bed should be lower. But I'm saying I've got more than that already, just on a tiny little bit of stock trading I've done. The tiny little bit, I've already outstripped my dedicated stream. I can't remember what it was. So anyway, I'm gonna try to get this. So Mom figured out that on the tiny amount that I'm doing via spending on trading stocks, I've already beat the amount of what I would get for just holding it, just buying and holding it. Yeah, that's it. So if you buy it and hold it, that's cool, but I've already done better than that, just on the tiny little bit that I've done. And I was already feeling funny about the tiny little bit that I've done. But Mom fixed that. She said, "You're doing better than everybody." And I was like, "Oh shoot, oh shoot." I'm feeling good about that now. And so, and Fee has been great. Fee has been great. She gives me encouragement, even though she knows she doesn't know what she's talking about. So she's like, "Yeah, I know you can do it, Sekou. I know you can do it. Right?" And so that's been very helpful. And also, David. I mean, if you all didn't see the show yesterday, you need to go back and watch it. I went back and watched it. I mean, it was, man, it was so much off of me. So much off of me because of the first question I asked him. First question I asked him was, how did you get past your stroke of your life-threatening, your near-death experience to focus on trading? Because his situation is similar to mine. Like, I mean, he had an entirely different thing that affected him. He did not have a stroke, in other words, but he had the symptoms of a stroke. And he was on track to become an archaeologist. Not an archaeologist? I think so. I think so, but it doesn't matter because he's not that anymore. He was on this track to become. And he said, I was overwhelmed with the amount of money coming out. And I so was I. So was I. And so to meet up with him and talk about things and to really get our handle on that really helped me because that was my one last thing. My one last thing is how do I do the trading and be sure that I've got the mental capabilities to do it, right? And David solved it for me. He's like, you gotta work. You gotta work. You gotta work. And I was like, okay. So I'm gonna be working, y'all. I'm gonna be working, y'all. So this is the thing. I am still on this show going to talk about the basics. The basics. The basics. The basics. Because you all need the basics. Because you all keep trying to skip steps. There's no skipping steps. You need to figure out your emergency plan first. Your emergency plan first. Your emergency plan first. You need to take 10% out of your income and set it aside. Set it aside. Set it aside. That will bring you up your emergency plan. And that's what you gotta do. Ain't no skipping around. Ain't no skipping around. Not really. You want to follow my path, you need to follow the steps. So I'm gonna keep sticking to that. But at least once a week, as many times as I can get them, I'm gonna be talking to people like David. I know David said some things that were hard for you to understand, like he talked about a PDT, like you don't know what that is, right? I just learned what that is. That's see, I can't even remember it, but it's an acronym, and I know what the acronym means. The acronym means that you can't play unless you got more than $25,000 in the bank. What? What? Yeah. So you can't even play. You can't. So let me be clear about what I'm saying. You cannot make more than 3 trades per week on any given week before if you've got less than $25,000 in your your thing. I'm sorry, folks. Your thing that measures up your account. Right? So your account separate from your bank account and all that stuff. You've got your separate account, and you put in $100 like I did, hopefully, and you can play with it. But that just means that enables you to make 3 trades. 3 trades. That's it, and that's all, and that's great. That's great because it limits you to 3 trades per month. I mean, per week. And so you're only doing 3. You're only doing 3. And that should keep you from doing too much. And that's the idea of why it was created. And you hear people talk about, oh, I couldn't do it because of the PDT rule. Well, they're just talking about that same thing. It limits you to 3 trades. But I've been cool with my 3 trades. I've been cool with my 3 trades. Just playing with those 3 trades. I've been really cool with like one trade. Really, that's what I've been tripping on, 1 trade, because I've been doing the what do I call it? The weekend hustle. So I go in on Friday, pick out a stock, and I sell it Monday. And that's what I've been doing. And that's been working for me. I'm just sticking to the same thing. Buy it Friday, sell it Monday. And that's it. And so yeah, I could talk more about it, but I don't want to lose anybody. So I am going to do my best to keep the stair steps, the baby steps. alive for you guys. But I'm still going to get my big people like David. Like, man, that was so great. That was so great. I've been living with it ever since. So anyway, here's my announcement. I'm going to work. I'm going to work because the one thing that's worked for me in terms of money has been stocks, really. But it's been small. It's been small, but it's been big, as my mom pointed out. It's small, but that small was big. That small was big. And so I just got to focus on that. Focus on that, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. What David said, I'm going to focus in. I'm going to focus in. And how about he went to Puerto Rico and went in? I was like, whoa, that's a whole nother level. But still, he went to some place where he could be ensconced in the stuff. Just ensconced in it. Oh, ensconced, that's a good word. That's a good word. Okay, so yeah, that's what I wanted to say. That's what I want to say. And yeah, I think that's it. I am going to dedicate myself to working. Because if David can do it, if he can turn his life around and become a trader because he saw how much money he had to pay in terms, and he had benefits now. He had benefits, mind you, and he was still stuck. And I did not have benefits. And the bills, the bills were serious, right? So that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with our why. My why is his why. My why is to get out from under these payments due. All right. I know my folks will pay him, but I don't want that to happen. I want to pay him myself and get out from it. Okay. So that's it. I just want to point on one thing. One thing is I was talking about this documentary. I can't find it, by the way. I mentioned to you, I said I'd find it. I have not been able to find it. It vanished into the Netflix universe. But I want to point out that this was the one where the guy was talking to the NFL player and he put him on, right? But I want to tell you one other thing. There's other person who was advising a person. And she came up with this really great list. She came up with this really great idea. So her thing is she's got her money divided into 5 places. I can't tell you all 5. I can't tell you all 5, but I can tell you the 3 that made it interesting to me. One was investments. 2 was savings, put that aside. And 3 was income, like just like income set up for. So that's what bugged me out. I was like, wait, the rest of the check is the income. Like she's like, no. So like 10%, let's just use that number. 10% for investments, 10% for savings, 10% for I don't know why I can't talk today. Anyway, so what she's saying is the third thing is your money from your work, right? Set that aside. And I was like, set that aside? She said, yeah, set that aside and set a card. Your card should go to that account specifically. I was like, wow, that's really dope. That's a dope idea. So you put your money across to one place and then take your card to that place. I was like, okay, that's good. That's good. So I'm gonna experiment with that and see where I go. See where I go. Because that right there would keep me from spending everything that's in the account. You know what? Because I put 10% away and then everything in the account just kind of goes. But if I put it into its own space and get a card for that specific space, that might be something. That might be something. So anyway, this is another trick of the trade. You got to keep practicing, keep asking, keep finding out. You've got to. Let me just end it with this. You've got to find ways to think about, talk about money. You've got to. You've got to. You've got to involve it in your daily TV spread. You got to, start your spread a little bit earlier and go in there and just type in money. Go into to the Fire Stick and type in money and see what you get. Just see what you get. And get into the idea of thinking about money, because things will keep occurring to you. Things will start occurring to you after you open yourself to money. All right? Okay. All right, folks. Remember that. Wait a minute. Let me get my thing here. Now is better than perfect. Now is better than perfect. Yeah, keep on remembering that. I want to send a shout out to Tony. There he is. And where's I didn't have one for David because we did do this via Gmail. We did it via Loop. Is it Lulu? No. What is the thing called? Oh man. Aphasia got me today, but I hung in there. And I gave you an episode, and I hope I gave you something interesting. Ashe. And now we're going to tune out until next time. All right. So remember that now is better than perfect. Ashe.